Hey everyone. All right, here we are. Um, I'm going live today with a headset because one of the things that has been troubling to me as a video producer for most of my life is that people don't give a shit about audio anymore. And hopefully this sounds better because we've gotten caught up in this Zoom world where we're doing speaker audio and it just I don't know. I think it sounds terrible. And it's hard to that was one of the things about making videos and films and stuff like back in the day was that you can have this beautiful picture of a beach and crashing waves and a sunrise and all this stuff, and it would be beautiful visually. And it's usually that scene in the movie that kind of makes you cry, but without some kind of music or audio and the waves crashing, watching that video is completely boring. So it's all about good audio. I mean, video is really about audio, and film, if you think about it, the any kind of picture without music or any kind of emotional audio is weak. But anyway, I'm not saying that this is the equivalent, but I just wanted to kind of give you guys a better listening experience, hopefully. So today, well, all right. So I had two 4-hour rides planned this weekend, and as you know, I've been on the teetering edge of exhaustion. The leading back to Thursday, and yesterday I went out and rode the Chattanooga course, and I rode like the half Ironman loop, which is like 35 miles. And I plan to go out and do the full loop after that, which would be 45 more, which would be put me in the 4-hour ballpark maybe. But I quit after having a podcast that says practice not quitting on Thursday. And, I don't even care. I didn't want to be riding. I knew I was exhausted. I mean, I made the mistake that I say always not to make, which is on Thursday. Um, I should have just taken that day off and focused on the big weekend. But now here I sit in a conundrum because I'm supposed to ride 4 hours a day and it's 11 a.m. and I'm still not in the mood to ride. And I'm thinking about taking today off. So I haven't had a day off yet in, the last 3 weeks. But you know, this whole idea of taking a day off and it's sort of like an ego driven deal where we want to be able to say we didn't miss any days and we trained but like I'm just listening to my body here and it's going, dude, how deep do you want to dig this hole? And I don't want to dig it any deeper. So I could actually take today off, which is Sunday, and luckily I'm at a flexible position to do this. But Monday, I guess tomorrow's a holiday, so maybe I will take today, let my legs and my body, more importantly, and my brain, it's my mind, it's like trying to talk me out of everything right now. And I do feel fatigue when I got up, and it's a real thing. So um, I'm going to take today, I think, and I think we're going to podcast in the morning, and then I'm going to maybe ride tomorrow, and it may not be 4 hours. It may, I don't know. We're going to take that day by day right now, but I'm getting older, in the recovery time, and I frankly I don't live a lifestyle that is conducive to working out at this level, if you know what I mean. Like I just don't eat that great all the time. I don't sleep that great all the time. I've got a lot of, you know, things going on in my head and unnecessary stresses, maybe about the race, maybe about the business, maybe about the coaching, all these things. And it's just kind of wearing me down. So um, I'm going to take a day, I think, and move on. And it's like the other thing I did is I woke up today, man, because yesterday felt so heavy to me after I stopped that ride. And I came back into town. I ate a big breakfast, and I was still exhausted. And I just like laid down and took a little nap. Then I watched the Badgers, and they lost. And I was like, oh, the world's fallen. I mean, but to step back from that game, and I mean, they got beat by Penn State, but I mean, it was really kind of fun to watch. I hadn't watched a game in such a long time, and the crowd was there. The people were excited and having fun and stuff like that. And just to be able to watch that game, and of course I wanted them to win, but it didn't crush me like it would have, a couple of years ago even. Um, and I'm just sort of looking at it like, oh well, a little bit. Let's see how they respond to this. But anyway, the day felt so heavy, man. There was nothing going on. I was trying to get energy and trying to, be productive. Like we always have to be productive. And I don't know. It was just a tough day. And I went out to dinner last night, and that wasn't really enjoyable. And blah blah blah. So I woke up today with this idea in my head of like, you got to quit taking things so seriously, man. And like carrying such a weight about the world, and people are so serious about this study is showing this, and this study shows that, and this is right, and this is how we live, and we're so caught up in the inertia of wanting to be right all the time and wanting to be the smartest person in the room. And I've often said intellectualism kills. And it's because we get in our heads and we overthink so much, man. It's like we don't ever want to do anything wrong. I remember back when I was like a kid, and I got moved up to the smart, they had like three groupings or whatever. And I was always in the middle at first. And then I had a couple good tests or something. So they moved me up to the smart rooms and in grade school, right? And I remember being so nervous that I was clicking this pen on one of those 4-color pen things. I was just rotating around, and the teacher stopped about 10 minutes into class and said, "What is that clicking?" And it was me, and I was super embarrassed. But like the idea of being smart is such a weird thing, like everybody, and I just remember from that point on thinking, like, just don't be dumb, and don't be, don't ever seem dumb because it's embarrassing. And it really kind of like every once in a while it creeps up into my head. It's that weird memory from, forever ago that still kind of is in there. Like, okay, I'm the triathlon coach. I need to know everything. And yesterday, I got like um, 5 texts from people that were in kind of similar boats to me. And they're like, hey, I'm thinking about taking tomorrow off, or I'm going to change this into this, or take it easy, or blah, blah, blah. And I was like, all in. Just do it, because so what? We've been training for months and months and months. And, what we say it on the podcast all the time, but it's so much better to go in undertrained than overtrained, because especially if you've done a lot of work, put a lot of work on your body, and then you're not going to be able to do it. I just don't understand that. Like how I get in that mindset too. Like, it's going to be too much. Well, we've already done it. We've done so much work, and it's so important to be fresh mentally and like physically. So I'm just this idea, man, that I take these things so seriously. Like if I'm going to go out and I got to do a split in X amount of time, and if I don't do that, then I'm not going to be able to do it in my race or whatever. And then just carrying that burden, that's just so weird how that can take over everything. And I'm really just in this place where A, not take things too seriously, and B, really kind of laugh at stuff. And Bukowski said his big thing was Charles Bukowski, one of my favorite authors. And it's kind of weird because, he's just a drunk, and he wrote about all this crazy shit. And I mean, he was just a phenomenal writer. But, his thing was don't try. And people were like, oh, you got to try. You got to try. You really need to try, And I get that. But I think what he meant by don't try is don't try to be somebody else. And it's so easy to do with Facebook and Twitter. And, it's like we all see everybody talking about how cool their lives, and, they're posting things that are just raising the bar for us. And man, what a burden that is to carry. I mean, I think it just seeps into our subconscious, and you're like, oh man, Goggins wrote, and he was tired, and he went out and ran and everything. It's like, yeah, but that guy's living like, his lifestyle is built around that, and I think sometimes I get confused because my lifestyle is kind of triathlon, but I have so many more elements and interests in my life that this idea of being the perfectionist triathlon thing has just never really appealed to me. I'm more interested in our thing, happy, healthy, and then, being strong. To me, that's everything, because if you don't have any of that, then you don't have energy to like, seal the deck, or clean, out your pantry, or organize stuff, or do like art projects, or do creative things. if you don't have any of that in your life, it's just going to get real stale. So anyway, I'm kind of venting on that. I just, and as I'm doing this, I feel myself getting serious about it because it's sort of like easy to do, but I want to be light. I don't want to care about things so heavy. It's like, oh, every little detail is like, makes you, you know, feel like you're not worthy. And I think so much going on in the world today is really, I don't know if it's like orchestrated or it's just something, a product of what's become, but it feels like everything is sort of like aimed at kind of belittling our existence into, like, I don't know, pigeonholing us into things that we really aren't, when we're actually radiant, important beings in our own rights. And for people to make us a number or a statistic, or like have that kind of avalanche of information always coming at us, is just constantly beating us down. And I'm here to say today that you're worthy, that just because you didn't do a workout, that doesn't mean anything. You have to be happy, healthy, and strong in your life and enjoy it. And laugh, man. I just, like, I miss laughing because I get kind of like isolated during these times. And um anytime you kind of like joke about not doing something great or what, you know what I mean, like, it's like it feels like we can't even laugh at ourselves anymore. And I really, that's what I love about life, is kind of the sarcastic, having fun with things and not being so serious. And like, because I mean, it matters, but it just doesn't matter a lot of times, and um, so that said, if you got a workout you don't feel like doing, and you feel like recovering, or you want to, don't like being in a long stretch of fatigue where you're just dragging through every day, I think we gotta adapt and adjust to that, because that's just not a way to go through life. And I know that we have to suck it up and do things, and we got an Ironman coming up and everything like that, but let's be flexible. Let's take that Thursday off when I decided that I had to do that workout. And now it's just kind of spilling into the next few weeks or days, and maybe this week, hopefully not, but we'll see how today goes. Anyway, that's it for today. If you got any good jokes, send them to me because I'm ready to laugh.